Is it weird to do a video about being alone if Sam's here? Hey, you. Say hello. Alright, well, you tried. You know? That's all we can ask of ourselves. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about how to be alone, and it's not a sad one. It's actually a really good one. All about empowering yourself and just feeling good when you get a little bit of you time. You know? Everyone needs them time. I'm going to link up my social links right here. Would love if you would follow along, but let's dive into today's video. First step. When you are alone, you need to know that you are still good enough. Getting comfortable with being alone is a big part of understanding that you are fine and you are worth something. And being alone does not correlate with that at all. 2. Value your own opinion. Sometimes when we are hanging out with other people, it's great because we get to converse, we get to talk about ideas, we get to hear about what they're thinking, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice just to be able to sit within your own opinion and kind of hear your own thoughts. So, value your own opinion. If you're going to do a task, if you're trying to complete something, if you're going to buy something, it's really all on you and what you think. So sometimes that's a really great thing. Next up, learn to be an observer. This sounds kind of weird, but imagine this. You're just sitting on some type of transit and you don't need to have the sudden urge to go on your phone. You can just sit in that moment knowing you're alone, but not feeling judged by anyone, that you're not talking to anyone, but you're able to actually just sit in that moment and observe and realize what other people are going through, or think about your friends and family or what the conversations you had together. Observing is a great part of learning and a great part of understanding. So having that time alone to be able to really think about those things and really start to meld all of that information together in your own mind is a wicked opportunity to learn and grow within your relationships. So it's actually scientifically proven that multitasking is a total myth. I know we can kind of do it by like drinking coffee, like walking on a treadmill, writing in your journal, and all those types of things. But it's actually kind of a myth. You can only really focus on one thing at a time. So this is my biggest pet peeve, or I have a few pet peeves. One of them is definitely when people are picking up their luggage at an airport and they're standing like right next to the conveyor belt. Why do you have to be that close? Can't you see your luggage? Anyways, I digress. One of my big pet peeves is when I'm talking to someone, say you're shopping, and they're just not even paying attention to you. And they're just going about their thing, but they're just doing this, oh yeah. That's annoying, okay? Take the opportunity to not multitask. Take the opportunity, being alone, to just focus in on one thing. And then from that, the next time that you are with someone, value and cherish those moments. Be more present because you've had the opportunity to think out, okay, when am I going to get groceries? When am I going to do laundry? When am I going to finish the sentence? When am I going to get that project done? You've already done all that thinking. You've already been able to do your own task management, but take the opportunity to talk to yourself. If you need to have a dog present to make it seem a little bit more sane, or a cat, or a bird, or a fish, do that. But talking to yourself isn't that nuts, and it isn't that out of this world, and I think everyone does it. Sometimes I will literally be driving and I'll make a joke and I'll say it out loud and I will just laugh at myself. Because I think I'm really funny sometimes. And that's a good thing. You should think you're really funny. Great point, Amanda. Avoid mindless consumption. Because I think sometimes when we're like, oh yeah, like I was alone, but I was so scrolling through social media the whole time, comparing myself to the rest of the world. We'll talk about that later. But anyways, in another video, I digress. When you actually get the chance to be alone, revel in it. Bathe in your aloneness. Just be present with yourself. and avoid mindless consumption. Appreciate this time that you have to totally recategorize your thoughts. Probably my favorite tip of all time when it comes to being alone is create something. If you want to write something, if you want to doodle, if you want to draw, if you want to paint, if you want to make a video, or if you suck at all of that, you can just write your name over and over again in a notebook. Create something, do something, go to a paint night alone and just talk to random people that you don't know. Sometimes talking to random people actually helps you get to know yourself better because it puts you outside of your comfort zone. Putting yourself outside of your comfort zone is where the learning happens. That's where this quote comes from. Getting time to be alone gives you an opportunity to almost make plans for the future because you can think a bit more in depth about what you want, and that comes back to valuing your own opinion. What do you want? So you have the opportunity, you're alone, think about it. Last but not least, being alone takes practice, and being comfortable with it takes practice. To be honest, sitting in my room, filming these videos, talking to a camera, I'm alone when I'm editing them, I'm alone when I'm creating the thumbnail, I'm alone, uploading, I'm alone, writing blogs, I'm alone. A lot of time I spend in the car and in here, and I'm alone, and it's totally fine. Take yourself to a movie, go somewhere where there are people, but try not to put that own judgment on yourself that you're alone, because, I mean, in a lot of scenarios, you're the only one judging you. And I know this may come off as negative, but it's not. People aren't paying attention to you as much as you think they are. So, practice being alone. These are only a few tips about being alone, but I kind of want to dive into this a little bit more in future videos. If you guys have any tips about being alone, please leave them in the comments Please leave them in the comments below. And question of the day is definitely, when's a scenario that you have been alone but felt totally comfortable with it? Or do you make yourself laugh when you're alone? I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you're watching alone, I'm glad I got to spend some of your alone time with you. Love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Looking at your picture, 'cause that broken summer